Go.
The title is called Clover. You'll understand why when we tell you the plot. And the little tagline is, will you join her? Because she's kind of like haunting the main character, which will all be explained in the plot.
Oh, this is me, sorry. Sean Miller's wife dies. At the funeral, someone with a hidden identity turns up, but no one knows who they are. When he's at home, he first gets a phone call, but there's no answer. The next morning, he goes to his local cafe and sees the same person standing outside. When he looks back, they're not there. Sean keeps getting weird phone calls and letters. One day, Sean thinks he sees them in the street, so he runs after them, but it turns out to be someone else. When he talks to a friend, Ted, about his situation, he doesn't believe in him and thinks he's mad. One day, someone knocks on his door and sees him through the window. He opens the door and there is a parcel on his doorstep. The same parcel that was buried with his wife. Sean now has to figure out who's doing this and why.
This is the storyboard for our opening title sequence. It's basically, the beginning bit is he's talking to Ted in the cafe about his problems and about all the things that's happened to him. And then when he goes home, he sits down in his office, like at his desk, and starts having these flashbacks about when he sees what's happening with this mysterious person. So as you can see, the one to the far right is at a graveyard, where he sees this like really mysterious person staring at him behind a tree. And then he goes in this street, he thinks he sees her again. So he runs up to like a random woman and starts shaking her, but then when she turns around, it's a different woman, so he's kind of like hallucinating, thinking he's seeing her. And down there with the box is, he like hears his doorbell ring and no one's there apart from the box, so he gets it. And he, before the title sequence finishes, you don't see what's in the box to make it all mysterious. The whole tone of the film.
Sean, his wife and his unborn child were involved in a car crash and both die after the accident, leaving Sean alone. He goes to her funeral and notices a strange person staring at him. After the funeral, he gets a mysterious phone call with no answer. When he goes to meet his friend Ted, he discusses his strange hallucinations and Ted tries to reassure him that they'll go away. A few weeks later, he gets weird letters and a package outside his door. Inside the package is a wedding ring beneath a pile of clovers. This makes Sean really begin to decide whether this is real or not, and begins to look for clues and tries to solve the mystery. He begins to believe that Clover wants him to join her, and he soon considers suicide. Ted finds him about to jump off a bridge, but before he could, Ted saved him and called an ambulance. After this, Sean is transferred to a mental asylum and he's diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder.
That's obviously like the equilibrium disruption and the new equilibrium, which is where he has the normal life, he's a businessman and everything's fine until his wife dies, and then he starts getting all the mysterious things like the letters and the phone calls, and then the new equilibrium is when he finds out it's all in his mind and he's imagining it, so he needs to get treated, which is when Ted comes in and helps him.
So the character we've got is, the main character is Sean Miller. He's in his mid-20s and his personality is similar to the main character of The Woman in Black, played by Daniel Radcliffe. Sean's been married to Clover for a few years, and they've recently been involved in a car crash where her and their unborn child was killed. After this, Sean is haunted by memories and hallucinations of his wife and baby. His personality begins to darken as he becomes consumed by his imagination. He also keeps receiving various unknown phone calls and letters. This makes Sean consider the reality of his hallucinations. In his episodes, he is convinced that Clover wants him to join her and is driven mad all the time. Ted Jacobs is Sean's friend that tries to get him back to normal, but Sean gets really angry with him because he thinks that it's real, so their friendship kind of like goes a bit downhill, and then yeah, so that's Ted. And then Clover is Sean's wife, and in real life she is actually like a nice person and she loves him and everything, but then in Sean's hallucinations she's got a really dark personality, so Sean begins to forget what she's actually like in real life.
We're going to film them in an office, but obviously we don't have an office, so we're going to use just a desk in Zara's house and try and make it office-like, because that's where Sean feels most comfortable. The graveyard is obvious because of the funeral, and you can't really have a funeral without a graveyard. Busy Street is when he finds the woman that he thinks is Clover, but it's just a man and woman, which we're going to film in town. And then the cafe, we're going to film in Costa, where he's talking to Ted at the beginning of the title sequence. The front porch with the box and the kitchen, the same in Zara's house, where he's going to go. And where he feels most comfortable in his house is the kitchen. He's going to go, when he's thinking and flashing back, he's going to go and have like a drink to try and calm himself down.
We're going to market our film as a low-budget movie to be shown in independent cinemas such as the Duke of York. The way we would advertise our film is via social media. We would make groups on various sites which would distribute information, pictures of the film and dates when it will be shown. Lastly, posters will be put up in cinemas and DVD shops so that people who enjoy the movie are aware of the film.